hello. Welcome, Mzansi. I am back, okay? The Pink Ninja is back. And let me tell you something. If you do not know what I'm talking about, make sure you hit the replay in our previous live. Let me also shout out the replay gang. This is one of the latest lives I have ever done, but I think we are Putuma, okay? Also, Tinu National Commissioner, okay? I bet you there are meetings and meetings everywhere because general, okay, not national, provincial commissioner Mkhwanazi over there in the KZN said today, I want to take off a lot from my chest. I have a lot. So I promised you guys I was going to go live earlier. I then picked up my phone and I saw Cressela said something, and then I saw what Shadrack Sevilla responded. Listen, it's explosive. So we're going to switch gear and jump straight into this Cressela interview. It's epic, okay? A lot is going down. And I said, you know what? Instead of me recording a reaction video, let me do a late night fall asleep with Mzansi Unfiltered video. And we guys are going to contribute to our recording, okay? So let me go ahead, get myself all set up here. Pink Panther has overheated, okay? We can't go back into that Pink Panther mode. Why? Guys, it makes me so playful. It makes me not be serious. And worst of all, I can't even see my screens. Okay, I can't see your comments because I'm blind as a bat. Okay, I'm blind as a bat. And I just didn't like that. I felt like a little bit disconnected. Because let me tell you something. If you did not know, okay, Mzansi Unfiltered enjoys your comment. If you've ever thought, man, does she read my comment? I absolutely do. Your comments make the show, okay? Without them, I just would be nothing. I am nothing without you. And there is no way I could just literally go on and just not have my comments. So let me just open up one more screen here and we get started. Now, this is an old live. Why isn't it showing me my current live? Just give me one quick second. Okay, we're doing this. We're doing this. Oh, man. I've messed it all up now. I've messed up my screen. Uh-oh. Now I've really messed it up. How do I split screen? There we go. I want... Okay, you know what? Give me one quick second. What have I done? Are we out for the day? Okay, give me 1 second. How do I do this? Channel dashboard, yes. Okay, I'm in the right place. I know, it's a late live. I'm here for you. Just give me a second. I need to open up this screen and we're there, loaded and ready to go. Inside Phakathi, I see you guys waited for me. I am so sorry. So shout out to Thembalihle, and he says, wait a minute. What about an emoji of you in that pink kininda like masked face you are wearing? It is for Otsima Umlilo. Okay, I'll take your suggestion into consideration and I love it already. Malisedi says, Mkhwanazi said a lot and mentioned that there will never be a relationship between a cop and a criminal, referring to Sibiya. I'm connecting the dots to Meiwa's case. Ooh, we're going to come back to that comment. Dan says, welcome back. Thank you, everybody. Okay, I'm up to date. Nkosiyazi says, oh, Mrs. R is here. Welcome back. You are working overtime. Listen, I'm working overtime and I blame it on the South African Police Services. Okay, it's burning in there. This is our teen commissioner. Okay, we are staying up tonight and we are doing these recordings together o'clock. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into this video. I want to react blow by blow as he speaks. First and foremost, Cressela, you went for the inspection in local and Sunday you're already back inside Phakathi within the studio. Wow. Now that is a hard worker. So let's hear Cressela. It's about a 21-minute long video. We're going to watch it bit by bit and I'm going to react to the parts where Sibiya speaks because he speaks with his chest, and we're going to react to his voice, his reactions, and why it matters. He should have taken his own advice and not commented any further, but you know what it is. Sometimes you've just got to speak. So let's listen in.
That full presentation that was just given by the KwaZulu-Natal Police Commander Mkhwanazi, explosive allegations in that briefing again the sense as police time to take General Shadrack to be a minister regarding that are rotting in the office of, amongst others, General Shadrack Sibiya. He talks about the Minister of Police having communication with syndicates. This explosive material, he says, they have evidence of listing some of in KwaZulu-Natal and Mkhwanazi. He talks about the minister having communication with syndicates, a certain Mr. Brian or Brown Mkhwanazi having communications with the police about dealing with Khumalo as well as Mkhwanazi. You would know, of course, this past week we did have one of the senior officers in crime intelligence, Khumalo, appearing in court amongst other amongst other colleagues, and it seems there seems to be an element of miscommunication, or there seems to be some bad blood, which is currently within the South African Police Service, from what we're saying. Mkhwanazi also speaks about known firearms being linked, speaks about the manipulation of the vetting process when it comes to crime intelligence. And he also spoke about the Minister of Police organizing and wanting to create peace between himself, is Mkhwanazi, and Deputy National Commissioner for Crime Intelligence, General Shadrack Sibiya. And just to quote, we heard Mkhwanazi say that meeting took place, but there can never be peace between a criminal and a police officer. Now, this suggestion seems to be made towards General Shadrack Sibiya, who joins me on the now. General Sibiya, thank you indeed for your time. Let me first get your reaction to a slew of allegations that have been made against you, and in fact, you've been labeled as a criminal.
That I'm very much disappointed and shocked because the last time I spoke to John Mkhwanazi was on Friday, and all was well. And I mean, through Sevilla.
Listen, I don't know who you talk to or who your friends are, but just because you spoke to Mkhwanazi on Friday and you made the assumption that all is well means you played into Mkhwanazi's disposition and fooled you to thinking that all is well. They say, keep your enemies close, and he surely did that. Let's continue listening on.
Are you listening? Are you watching? But this is my official response. At this point in time, I just want to say that this matter just came to my attention now, and I have not been made aware of all the details. I will most certainly respond after I have had an opportunity to ascertain the issues. And then I will also respond. I'm not going to behave as a disciplinary, as a disciplined member of the South African Police Service. I'm not going to follow the path that General Mkhwanazi followed. I'm not going to take the mic and say things that him, and then give him permission to show to the media the evidence that he's talking about. He doesn't need to bring it to me, and if he knows of any criminal offense that has been committed, he must open involvement in criminal activities. I'm giving him that permission.
General, I respect, as you've indicated, but this is really damning. These allegations that have been made are damning. He's talking to us within the service, including yourself. Do you know about any of these actions? We're talking about allegations of the minister allegedly having communication with syndicates, docs related to or those dockets rotting. Also, the fact that in the meeting you all kept quiet, and you're being referred to as a criminal now. Do you know about any of this? You are the national, the deputy police commissioner for crime detection, and all speaks to crime, allegedly being involved in crime, having communication with syndicates, which had been linked allegedly to the thing of people in. You've got to say something to the people of this nation at this moment, even though you still need to look at thoroughly at what he said.
I have to say, as a disciplined member of the police, I will never.
Hold the line. This is the second time you tell us that you're a disciplined member of police. I, as Mzansi Unfiltered, want to remind you were inside Phakathi as a civilian in the Senzomeyiwe trial when a certain Constable Sizwe Zungu was making allegations with regards to the 5 accused, but we are not there. We are here at Mkhwanazi o'clock, okay? Mkhwanazi owns South Africa this Sunday, and he took it upon himself and made several allegations with your name inside Phakathi, and you have the audacity to say I spoke to him on Friday and everything was okay. I don't know where this is coming from. And then now you want to tell us that you are a disciplined officer. Nobody asked you about your level of discipline, and you need to understand when it comes to people who are inside Phakathi within on the spot, he should have taken his own advice into consideration and ended the call by saying, I need to consult with my legal team, but he decided to proceed. And as he proceeded, he revealed several things. So here's one thing. When somebody speaks and then starts to then reference themselves as a character, gives their own character witness of themselves. You can't tell us that you're a disciplined police officer. We need to hear other police officers say, yes, that one there, he's a policeman. Okay, he's just a policeman. He's a disciplined policeman. But when you find yourself being a spokesperson for yourself, it becomes problematic. Why is that the first thing that you are saying in reaction to what is going on with Mkhwanazi's allegations? You should have stuck to the focus of Cressela's questions. And shout out to Cressela for asking the hard questions. But here is for me, where I'm sitting right now, what he said has no relevance. We don't care if you're a disciplined officer or not. We don't care what your ranking is or not. We care about what Mkhwanazi said. Okay, because he called the press briefing, the press showed up, they turned on the cameras, and nobody thought to do load shedding. Nobody thought to unmic him. Nobody thought to take him down. He continued from start to finish, but we are not there. Let's hear Shadrack Sibiya give his official response to Cressela over there on the SAPS. Here goes.
Cameras and do what General Mkhwanazi is doing, because there are processes to follow when there is such a situation or where you think you're on it. What he's doing, quite honestly speaking, is embarrassing, but we are not going to bend down to his level. All I can say is that I will respond wait for wait and prove to that what he says is absolutely not true. And I can show you the meeting the men just last week now. We've been talking. There's nothing like what he said.
Sir, you are a grown man. Stop telling us when you spoke to him or spoke to him last. Learn to be like Mkhwanazi. Keep your enemies close. He made sure your phone is live, okay? Maybe he was tracking you. Did you possibly think of that? Did you possibly think he was messaging you just to keep you abreast and make you think everything is nice and rosy? But you want to keep telling us, I spoke to him last week. I can't believe he would do this to me. Why didn't he hint this? This sounds ridiculous. But we have a comment from Utando Nkosi. Oh my God, my screens are disappointing me. Why can't I see? I can't see the comment. Okay, let me do this. Did you delete your comment? Is that why it's not showing up? Okay. Tando Nkosi says, do not believe them when they declared that he's a disciplined police officer. Liar, liar, Sibiya, okay? Alf says Sevilla is even ashamed of putting on his uniform, his police uniform, because he knows he's guilty on so many occasions. He's not in uniform. He's not responding in person. So Cressela called him over the phone, because you know how Cressela is. When she sees a story, she made the phone call. He answered the phone call. Why did you answer the phone? Knowing Mkhwanazi is out here running his mouth and you haven't had a chance to watch what is going on. All you see is clips that people are sending you, that your name is being mentioned in the KZN. You haven't spoken to your legal team, but the first thing you do is answer media? Okay, I see you. Smart move. No. Disciplined move. Yes. That's what we're calling it. A disciplined move from Shadrack. Let's continue on.
Speaking about. And what kind of a member is that who just go stand up there and talk to the minister the way General Mkhwanazi is talking about the minister? It is not just respect to the minister or to the authority. You don't do that.
But certainly, General,
No, General. What you're not going to do is deflect from the questions at hand. Mkhwanazi made them accusations, and your response is, how dare he stand up there and make such accusations? We are disciplined officers. You're not supposed to address the police minister in such a manner. You can call a separate session and discuss that amongst yourselves as policemen. But here, inside Parati, members of the public and the Cressela's guys, okay, we want to know, is Mkhwanazi telling the truth? Did he lose a few screws today? Did something happen yesterday? And then he decided to call a press conference. Like, listen, this was planned. This was planned. Guys, pay attention to the people that are around Mkhwanazi as he speaks, because they look equally as shocked. Okay, they're like, wait, what's going on here? What are we doing? Where is this man going?
General, if there are, yes, General, I agree. There are certain processes that need to be followed within the South African Police Service. But these are very serious allegations that are being... Let me ask you, did you know of any of these allegations? Do you know within the South... You are the Deputy National Police Commissioner for Crime Detection. Do you know anything about these allegations being leveled against the minister? These allegations being leveled against you? Allegations that the minister is in communication with syndicates, and there's been communication that he's had with some of them, a certain Mr. Brown Mkhotsi. Do you know this Brown Mkhotsi or Brian Mkhotsi? Do you know any of these people that are being spoken about? By any extension, do you know anything about...
that Mkhwanazi has been talking through TikTok, and we are not really participating in TikTok. So whatever allegations that he's been saying, he hasn't been mentioning people's names. Now, I just want to say that as the South African Police Service, we've been doing our good work. We've been working hard. We've been arresting criminals, and I'm sure you can see the statistics are green. And I don't want to say names. Now, I just want to say that as the South African Police Service, we've been doing our good work. We've been working hard. We've been arresting criminals, and I'm sure you can see the statistics are green. And I don't want to say I'm running away from your questions, but you are putting me in a situation where I have to blow by blow, and I don't want.
Are you kidding me? My mic was off. Oh no. Okay, so I literally said, I can't believe that a whole Shadrack Sevilla, instead of answering Cressela's question where she says, listen, you're the deputy in crime intelligence or crime intelligence. Can you please respond? Since you're part of crime intelligence, do you know the accusations that he's making? Do you have an inside information on that? And his response is, hello, Mkhwanazi is on TikTok. That is your answer? That to me is deflecting 101. Why are you talking about TikTok? If you have a problem with him being on TikTok, you have the authority. Take away his TikTok account. You have the authority to put out a rule. No South African Police Service members should have a TikTok account. Why do I say that? Ask Donald Trump, okay? If you're working for the government, you had no business being on TikTok. Donald Trump made that ruling. Why aren't you guys doing that? Instead of answering Cressela's question, you want to tell us Mkhwanazi has a TikTok account. Now, if you know Mkhwanazi's TikTok account, drop it in the chat because I want to check it out. I didn't know he was on TikTok, but shout out to Sibiya for telling us that Mkhwanazi has a TikTok account. Do you see where the focus lies in the South African Police Services? Now, sir, focus, okay? Answer the questions at hand. Stop deflecting, okay? Let's get back to Cressela. Here we go.
To go get into that situation of blow by blow. I want to sit down, watch this briefing, consult with my attorney, and then take it from me. But I tell you that there's no truth. So he said, entering in the immediate for the first time, and safe to tell you that in fact you'll find that the opposite is true. What Mkhwanazi is saying, there's no truth in all of this. There's no truth whatsoever, and that's why I'm brave enough to say to we must be about of the criminal.
Yeah. Just very quickly, General, is there a plot to get rid of General Mkhwanazi? And I'm talking about that in the manner in which he speaks. He talks about a cancer that is so deep. That is what he said. A cancer so deep within the South African police. Is there a ploy to get rid of General Mkhwanazi? Because he also speaks about him not being worried about his safety. The best that can be done to get rid of him is for him to leave the South African Police Service or he be fired. Is there a plot to get rid of him?
I think this is the only man who's at war against himself, because no one is fighting General Mkhwanazi. He's fighting, but we don't know who's fighting. And I can tell you, no one is aiming at General Mkhwanazi. He's been doing a good job in KZN, and we've always been applauding him for the good job that he's been doing. And I can tell you, even the minister, as far as I'm concerned, is in good taking terms with General Mkhwanazi. We've been in and out of KZN with him. Together with him, he's been inviting us as well. I can tell you, he sent me an invite to attend what was the golf day and other. He sent me the invite. He called me personally to ask me, am I coming? And I couldn't come. But all I can tell you is that
just because you got an invite to a golf day doesn't mean there are no issues with you. I repeat, keep your enemies. Keep your friends close, but keep your enemies closer. Have you not heard that English saying? It's literally this. He played you, and you don't like that you got played. Just because you spoke to him and the police minister spoke to him doesn't change his opinions of you. He called a whole press conference and told us how he really feels about you guys. Okay, what do you want us to do? Stay on the topic, sir. Stay on the topic. If not, stop answering questions because you're making it Whereas with every sentence you say, wow.
I don't understand the kind of man that I'm dealing with here today. I've been talking to him. We've been working together. I was talking to him just this past weekend. It's a big surprise for me, I must indicate. But also say to you now that whatever allocation that is mentioned is and confirm that he just spoke about. You can come to me. I can take you to the people that he says will have that information. Let's go pounds for pounds and look into the evidence of what he's talking about. You will see that he's just excited. What saying is,
he sounds like, General, he sounds like a very aggrieved man. Before I let you go, are you a criminal? He's referred to you. He said in that meeting that the police minister
I need to breathe. Are you a criminal? Says Cressela. Dan says, let me go. Dan made a comment. Let me see Dan's comment. No. I want to address that comment. Where is it? 1 second, guys. Here. I cannot give credit to Cressela knowing how she gives no effort like this for the sins of me a trial. I have to disagree. I'm not talking about day-to-day court because she just goes in there and, sits and then comes out and all she tweets is, here's the link to the live session. We want to see that active engagement from her, but we saw it on Friday, okay? We saw it on Friday. Had it not been for Cressela, I haven't checked out other news channels or media stations to see how they broadcasted or what angle they were taking or if they were biased. I haven't had a moment to do that. I've been captivated by Cressela and I believe she did an excellent job for us on Friday. And then now she is here inside Parati. The Mkhwanazi versus Sibiya, this is police minister versus commissioner. It is a lot, okay? But everybody's entitled to their opinion, and I respect that. But I just had to respond as well from where I'm sitting because she asked him the tough question: are you a criminal? Keep in mind, Cressela is very short, very, very short, as we saw on Friday. But she asked it.
Organized at his premises. You didn't say anything in that meeting, and he basically said there can basically be no peace between a police officer and a criminal. That seems to have been suggested that you are a criminal?
No, Cressela, I'm 37 years in this field. I've been doing this job, and many people, all the provinces know me. I've done my job throughout the country. I've served the people of South Africa. There are people that can contribute.
I gotta do my breathing exercises, okay? Are you a criminal? No, I've been serving the South African Police Services for 37 years. That is not the question. The question is not how long have you worked for South African Police Services. It's not, because then that answer would be correct. I've worked for 37 years. Are you a criminal? No, I'm not a criminal. And this is one thing I always talk about when you're being asked a question. Don't expand on the question. Just answer the question and put a full stop. It's because he continued on. Do you know who he reminds me of? He reminds me of another brigadier that is on the witness stand that talks and talks and talks forever until he says too much and then we catch him out, okay? Are you a criminal? No, I'm not a criminal. I can't believe he would say something like that about me. I'm going to wait to go into court and let the court take its course. Instead, he says, no, I'm not a criminal. I've been inside South African Police Services for 37 years. The people know me. I've worked on large cases like the AK. Don't open the can of worms. I feel like the entire South African Police Services needs to be taken in for public communication skills. Now let's go back over there to Mkhwanazi and what he did. He called a press conference. He called the press, obviously. They came with their mics and cameras. They set them up. He got dressed up in his outfit of the day. I bet you he selected that particular one for a specific reason. There's a message he wanted to put out. Every time he dropped a name, he backed it up. He told us, go back and watch this video on this date. If they've taken it down, don't worry, I've got the screenshots. Now that is a man who's ready for battle. The question is, what are they going to do to him tomorrow? That's what I'm concerned about. And how are they going to how are they going to erase our minds from everything that he placed on the record? Because one thing he did is he placed it on the record and he said, if I'm suspended, if I'm fired, if I'm unalived, the record is the record. It's on the record. I bet you he's also sent his screenshots to somebody as a backup if anything happens to him. I can't believe what happened today. But let me see. Let me do a quick check of your comments. You are implicating yourself. He is. This is why I decided to do the video. Remember, guys, we were going to do the video. We're going to start off nice and cute and start with Mkhwanazi. We took a break and then I was going to start that. But then I happened to pick up my phone. I saw Cressela. I watched. I was like, no, this is what we're reacting to live on Mzansi Unfiltered. I can't believe he did that. I cannot believe he didn't take his own advice. I can't believe he walked into Cressela's trap and decided to speak. Yet he tells us he hasn't watched the full interview, but he already has an opinion. And now he's trying to convince us he's not a criminal because he's worked at South African police services for 37 years. So anybody who's worked at South African police services for less than 37 years is a criminal? Is that what I should take from that sentence? You know, English is not my mother tongue. So I'm just trying to understand the relevance of that. Why? Why did you have to bring that up? And now you want to say, people know me, people know me, people know me. They know me, I've done the work, okay? And then he goes into the AKA conversation. You guys have to hear this from the horse's mouth because there's no way I could paraphrase all that. It's better said by the horse himself.
He's talking about the AKA. I'm the one. He didn't want to arrest. I'm the one who arrested, who pushed for the arrest of AKA. So, and I can show you, and I can you what my I can now, and I'm telling South Africa now. I am the one who was pushing for the arrest of AKA, not Mkhwanazi. That's what you must know.
You seem
and
to
I can tell,
the two of you seem to be going toe to toe.
Prosecutor,
yeah,
in this case,
the two of you seem to be going toe to toe. Do you have any bad, General Mkhwanazi? And I mean, how does all of this fare? Take a South African.
Only started as a result of the AKA matter because he didn't want to take this matter forward, and I had to force that these criminals be arrested.
Okay, you're saying that General Mkhwanazi. You're saying General Mkhwanazi did not mean General Mkhwanazi did not take.
He was not doing anything until I pushed for these people's arrest. I've met with the team more than 6 times. I've interacted with the team and the prosecutor and the national commissioner in his absence. And we pushed for these people to be arrested, and they were arrested.
The number one problem in the South African police services is the word I. I did this, I did that. They don't ever speak as a team. And it's so ironic. I spoke about this today in my Brigadier Kininda video where I speak about his leadership qualities. Leaders do not use the word I because you work as a team. You should try to use the word we. It shows inclusivity. I can give you an example of somebody who uses the word we. Let's go to the Western Cape because it looks, no, Eastern Cape, Western Cape. Let's go to the Western Cape because it looks like we've got to turn to the Western Cape for this example in Judge Nathan Erasmus's case when he was giving his ruling, the verdict of the three accused, because we don't know what's going on with Rance right now. But when he gave his ruling, he started off by thanking the women who were outside every day praying. He thanked the elderly of the court elderly. He thanked everybody, no matter how small your position was in that courtroom. He took mention of it and he took note of it. He didn't have to. And I wish that these leaders inside the South African Police Services can understand that. When you become a leader in a leadership role and you show that character, it will make the people that work under you give their job their all. Even if their job is just to take statements at the police station, they will start to take pride in it. Because when you're on the phone with Cressela and you use words like we, you are including everyone. When you hear yourself in any sentence say, I have a problem with that. Yes, I just said I, but you get what I'm saying. I have a problem with that. It means you're not a team player because now you're telling us, I am the one who pushed for the arrest of the people in the AKA case. If that was such the case, I don't remember that briefing seeing you, with all due respect. And my memory might be a little bit fuzzy. I remember Mkhwanazi. I remember Bheki. What do you mean, I? Where was your briefing? Because you also had the same opportunity as he did. Coming to us now to say, I is irrelevant, Your Honor. Irrelevant. Strike it off the record. The record speaks for itself, and we have it on record. I believe SAPS, I'd have to scroll down to find it. I believe it was Mkhwanazi. I really want to believe I never saw, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I stand to be corrected. But if you saw him, or if you are aware of his I position, drop it in the comment section. I'll be happy to look up that video. Let's continue listening on to I.
So what is talking about the we have arrest in case and there's no arrest in Joburg. I'm the one who push AKA.
You're basically accusing him of defeating the ends of justice.
Where?
No, we're saying that he didn't want to do anything about the AKA matter. Is that not?
Well, I don't say he didn't do anything, not doing anything.
So that's defeating the ends of justice, General?
No, it's not. When you say someone's not really acting, and I say, in my case...
Are you saying that he didn't act even though he knew?
Consulted with and they not doing, I jumped in and there was movement.
For crime detection in a country where we have crime completely spiraled out of control. There seems to be massive distrust within the South African Police Service, and I'm talking not at grassroots level, I'm talking right at the... You're fighting amongst yourselves, yet South Africans are not safe in their homes. There are allegations and counter-allegations being made by each of you. You've just some against Mkhwanazi now. What should South Africans do? Can we even trust you at all?
Look, Cressela, like I did initially when we started this conversation, yes. I tried to keep this thing very short.
Yes.
But you left me with no choice because you prompted me in such a way that if I don't respond, it also gives an impression to South Africans that it looks like I'm running away from answering certain questions. But at the same time, we're trying to behave professionally and be professional about this whole thing.
I already know what you're going to say next, okay? We've heard the script before. We know it really well. When you're in a tight corner, turn to respect. Turn to talking about respect. Speak to me respectfully, and I'll also speak to you respect. Don't. Okay, wait. It's like a script. Okay, when you're in a tight corner, just deflect. Okay, deflect and talk about. Don't talk to me in that manner. I think it's ridiculous, quite frankly, and it's even more ridiculous. It's always the people up there at the top. Okay, we've got the brigadier, we've got commissioner. Why should you always demand respect? Why not give respect so that people can choose to respect you? Why must you ask to be respected? The other concern I have here is there's nothing that Cressela said that was out of respect. Did I miss it? I don't think so. I think she didn't say anything that would cause his reaction, but he's in a very tight corner. And in that kind of corner, all you can think of is say, how dare you speak to me like that? Do you know who I am? Do you know my ranking inside the South African Police Services? I. Okay, it's the I gang. Okay, when you, the I gang, they be ganging up on the I phrase. Okay, and they always want respect, always, and that's highly concerning for me. So concerning. Alf says, Mzansi Unfiltered, Sibiya stopped wearing his police uniform ever since he was initially suspended. You'd swear that he's the national commissioner. And Masemola is the deputy. He's always in his uniform, Masemola. I think maybe you're right. I can't think I remember him being in uniform. Well, the most recent time he was in some form of uniform is when he was in that white hazmat, and he's wearing like a shower cap, white one. That's the last. I guess that's not a uniform. I guess you have a point. When it came to the reporter that was found with his wife, I think the bodies of those guys. So he was dressed in all white. Yeah, I think that's the last time I saw him. I'm trying to think of a time I saw him in uniform, and my memory is saying abort mission. Okay, abort mission. Next comment is from Ufusutando, and it says General Sibiya shouldn't have taken the call. I agree. Shouldn't have taken the call. I think he panicked and went into defense mode. So on Podcast and Chill on Monday episode, where there was Sol Penduga and what's his name? Something studio. I can't remember his name right now. Sitting in McGee's chair, they called, they made some phone calls. The lady answered and she said, I'm not going into that conversation. And he tried, and she said, I'm not going into that conversation. And then he said, okay, let's talk about something else. And said, sure, let's talk about it. Let's get into it. And they speak, and then he tries to do an off-ramp back into the initial conversation. And she said, I'm not talking about it. And at this point, I'm going to hang up. So, I mean, I don't think Shadrack Sibiya needs help in knowing how to end a call that he's uncomfortable having, especially since one, he's commenting and saying that he hasn't watched the full interview, and then secondly, he needs to seek legal counsel, but then he decides to proceed, and then now he's stuck, and then he's saying, respect me, I should be respected at all times because I hold a very high-ranking position. How dare you talk to me like that, Cressela? You are just a reporter at the SAPS. I am Shadrack Sibiya. Dan says, but trust me, generally will never say something without 100% proof. Oh, General Mkhwanazi will never say something without 100% proof. These police are so corrupt, working together with the ninja. Okay, ninja. Dan also says, wait, we have two Dans on the call. So Dan also says, Mkhwanazi will never lie. Never, ever say never. But Mkhwanazi came with his receipts. What he should have been doing was beaming the receipts right away, so that if anything is to happen to him, we members of the public jury, we have seen the beaming, okay? But then we've got Uzoli. Zoli says, Sibiya rushed to make arrests to prevent the investigations. Oh, you are onto something here. Okay, Mr. I am the one who pushed and Mkhwanazi wouldn't do it. Now, Zoli says, Sibiya rushed to make arrests to prevent the investigation that would lead to the kingpin. And then that would lead to the kingpin. I gotta turn on my do not disturb soon. Okay, I'm gonna do this when this call ends. Sorry for that. Now, next comment says, Otolagele says, these are not allegations. Mkhwanazi said the documents are there. He will share them with the public. Mkhwanazi, please, I hope you're uploading right now as we speak. We're more than happy to take a look at the documents. Don't be shy, okay? Don't be shy. I'm here for you, okay? Dan says again, Mkhwanazi will never lie. Alf says Mkhwanazi tried to signal to them not to mess up with him, but they thought he's crazy. Now he's blowing the whistle harder. So are you calling Mkhwanazi a whistleblower? Now, listen, he's blowing the whistle from inside Parati within, and he's put them in a very, very tough position. I don't think they understand what they have done. I don't think they get it. Oof, oof. Next comment says, I need someone to ask Sibiya why he was the first person driver there, what he was doing. Keep quiet about AKA case, please. If you're involved there, you are the one you're going to cook again. Ooh. Let me save this comment. I want to come back to comment on it. Okay. Next comment, Alf says, General Sevilla is weak. He doesn't like whistleblowers because he knows he's up to no good. Okay, you're making me think of another whistleblower. Her name might be start with a P and end with an A, and she might or might not be in court with the general right now on allegations of defamation of done. And then that case has suddenly gone dead silent, like it's just gone quiet. Weren't we supposed to get a verdict? Anyway, yeah. So yeah. Let me read your comment again. You might be onto something. General Sevilla is weak. He doesn't like whistleblowers because he knows he's up to no good. Oh, liar, Malume. Who's the Malume now? Malume, you didn't, I don't know what word is missing. You didn't any criminals. Who killed Senzo? Instead, you are protecting them. Alf says, Busutando, Machovane. And then Chuku says, we speak to him this weekend. We speak to him this weekend. Don't mean you never do. Okay. Just because you spoke to him this weekend doesn't mean you don't do crime. I agree, okay? Show us Senzo Meyua case. Otandi says, Malume, you're a liar. You're not arresting any criminals. Why don't you let Senzo's killers walk free? Why don't you let Senzo's killers walk free? Why TikTok? I mean, the TikTok statement came out of nowhere. Commissioner, you mean a lot to us. We're like truly not lying. I don't know what you're trying to say. The next comment says, right? Listen, I'm sacrificing here to do this live recording with you guys. We are awake because they are fighting amongst themselves, and they're doing it with cameras rolling. Do you understand how big that is? But there's a word that Sibiya says, okay, that reminds me of Umnisi Wemvula. So make sure you stay till the end because I'm going to get to that part in a few seconds. Man, finally somebody's got balls to confirm that indeed this is a mafia state. Konje wenzani uSibiya espaza shop. Dan says, how many options does he have? He's gonna say no. That's not good reporting. What are we talking about? And then Chuku says, I don't care about know all provinces. Okay, I don't care that you know all provinces or that you've worked for 37 years. Answer the question. Me too, okay? I stand with you. Next comment says, Malume. Why do you keep calling him Malume? But okay. Malume, you're not telling the truth at all. Dodging questions. You're not interested in arresting any criminals. Why did you not arrest Senzo's killers? Mkhwanazi is fighting criminals. and it's explosive, okay? And Thandolwe Nkosi says, just be quiet already, okay? I can't say that word on YouTube because YouTube doesn't like it, okay? Haibo, are you a criminal? Answer the question. He never did answer the question, if you guys noticed. He walked around it. He danced around it. I think maybe this is a class that they take when you become brigadier and up, how to dance around questions. There must be a class that they take because we're tired, okay? Us people, we are tired of the walk around the questions, okay, and not answering the actual question. Vasutanda says, does iPad still exist? What's the difference between it and IDAC in terms of roles? Okay, I'll answer that in a video for you because it's a long answer. Thandolwe Nkosi, that answer reminds me of Keninda in court. Yes, he's reminded me a lot of him. That's why I think is there a class that they take when they hit brigadier going up and then they start to not answer questions. I don't know. I'm just asking. Okay, these are just my thoughts. It's alleged. Okay, don't come for me. Okay, I know you like to open cases of defamation of character, but I'm just reacting to the words that you said. So I can't be deforming you because you said it aloud with your chest. Like, wow, why didn't you just hang up? I never understand people who just continue talking when you have the option to end the call. But we are not there. Next comment says, it's just unfortunate that after all is said and done, KZN will end up not having a dedicated police commissioner like General Mkhwanazi. Look at how they treated Collins Letshwalo. I don't know. This is too explosive for them to do anything to him. I think Mkhwanazi did the right thing because now he's an untouchable. I don't know. But if I look at the DA and the guy who lost his MP seat, no, he didn't lose his MP seat. He lost his vice minister donship, right? And Ramaphosa said, you went to the White House without telling me, and that's not allowed. And you're out. And then the DA started crying and making threats. So it's a lot. I'm not sure what they're going to do with this. Like, this is a landmark, okay, action that Mkhwanazi did. So I don't know what they're going to do. I bet you all the lawyers are out there. Well, the lawyers for the state, I guess, that would make it the NPA. They're out there reading case studies. Okay, they're going to tell us Hepworth said, okay, and then they're going to find a clause that allows them to section off Mkhwanazi. I think that's what they're doing right now. We'll find out tomorrow. There will definitely be an additional press briefing. We will find out. It reminds me of what's his name? Floyd. When Floyd thought he was still part of the MK party, he did a press briefing, and then a week later he did another one and said, haha, surprise, new party. Not party, but I'm not calling it a party yet. We're still calling it. Do you know what I mean? It looks like this is not going to end today. There's going to be a part 10. Watch and see, because you already know South Africa is a movie, okay? It's a series. It's a drama. We haven't forgotten. We've already forgotten what happened last week. Never mind that. We've already forgotten what happened at the inspection in Loco. We are now here in the KZN versus South Africa. But, okay, yes, main character syndrome, and that is a problem. Leaders should never have main character syndrome, ever. I have a huge problem with people with main character syndrome because it should never be about you. Why are you making it about you? And because you're making it about you, that speaks volumes. It means there's got to be a skeleton because you're making way too much noise. Let me give you an example. A brigadier may or may not have showed up in full heist uniform, bomb squad, gas tank leak somewhere. Only him, though. He only wanted to protect himself. He never told anyone else on his team to get dressed the same, okay? It is what it is. Next comment says, I remember Ngomezulu telling the court that, wait, it's coming. Now I know what he meant. Oh, man. May his soul rest in peace. If only he could see this and see that it is happening. Thandolwe Nkosi says, Haibo. When did we arrive to this? AKA murder. Can you imagine? We went from Are you a criminal too? And then the AKA case, because you know that let me pull the attention to what people are, what matters to the people. Let me not dare talk about the Senzo Mayweather trial because that's too hot. Let me go to the next one that's going to pull the masses, which is the AKA case. Where did the AKA case, in case you don't know, KZN? Do you see why he picked the AKA specifically? Because it happened in KZN. And who is the commissioner in KZN? Oh, it's Mkhwanazi. And what is he saying he didn't do? He didn't want to arrest anyone. But then I pushed for the arrest. Okay, we'll get you a medal, I guess. What do you want us to do with that information? What should that matter? Alf says, very true. And Gomezulu also told us about the meeting in Melrose Arch. I pray and hope that we get to hear what happened. Unfortunately, no one's coming forward with that one. If you notice, it hasn't been mentioned again. Tandolwenkosi says, Sifike kanjani? Exactly. How? How are we here? I am glad that Mkhwanazi spoke up, and I'm glad Sibiya spoke up as well. Then, if the minister wants to suspend, then he better start by himself, and then both the generals. Oh my goodness. YZ says it's this Shadrack Sevilla Ngomezulu spoke off when he said and wrote down General Shadrack Sevilla. Yes, we're up all night. Okay, we're breaking. Guys, it's a lot. All I wanted to do, my live schedule was to talk about the Senzo Mayweather documentary, and we were going to go into part 2. Now I've benched that. Okay, I don't even know when we're going to get back to that topic. All because of all this done is happening. Tandy says, Lieutenant General, are you a criminal? Yes or no? That's it. And the easiest answer for him to have gone with was no. Show me the evidence. He should have played dumb. But no. Not him. He had to tell us he's not a criminal and he's worked for the South African Police Services for 37 years. That's how you can tell when someone is not a criminal. So everybody in the South African Police Services is a criminal if you haven't worked for 37 years plus. Oops. He said it, not me. Tolayede says, Chefs from the Kitchen, case 375 of 2014. Exactly. Is he one of them on there? I see you, sir. I see you. What am I saying? Why is he says, I always ask myself how these substances come through the airport. It's like people who use diplomatic passports. They are criminals. So Saul was a David. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, I knew there was a studio in there. Okay. Thank you for that reminder. So you heard that call as well. Okay. Team Dan. Yes, we've got Dan squared today. Okay. Tandolenkos, it says, you, Shadrack Sevilla, you are too much. Oksalayo, you are exposed. When Mkhwanazi mentioned firearms submitted, when Mkhwanazi mentioned firearms submitted as false evidence, you were so shocked. It just takes me back to the ballistic expert. Like when he spoke about the ballistic expert, guys, I felt like an expert. And I said, you know what? Thank you to the Senzo Mayweather trial. I can hear exactly what he's saying. And I understand how they got to that conclusion and how all the things were recorded in the system. And then they got a hit. Oh my goodness. Okay. Otandolenkosi says, Lieutenant Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi has gone wild, guys. He's gone all out. Okay, he laid it all and left it all on the table. Next comment says, so according to Sevilla, this conflict started when Mkhwanazi was not doing anything about the AKA matter. Okay. So what did you then do about it? Okay. You guys are conflicting, but the AKA matter cannot even start to do disclosures because we've got two of those, is it? Two of the brothers Why can't I remember their surname right now? Is it Ngubane? No. Anyway, the two brothers, okay, over there doing the we don't want to be extradited appeal of the appeals. Now that case can't even start. Meanwhile, we've got a lieutenant and we've got commissioner fighting commissioner. Ew. It's bad. It's so bad. Next comment is from Utebogo, and it says, police minister shouldn't be wearing the police uniform, but the national commissioner should be the one because he or she went through police training. Okay. Where is your uniform? You can also borrow Gininda's latest outfit of the day, okay? Just go all black. Make sure you show us your fingers, and then make sure you speak so we know that it is you, and you're good to go, okay? Next comment says, it's from Umusa. It says, Mkhwanazi, uselipopozile itumbu. Why he says, it feels like a bunker buster bomb has been dropped. Oof. It sure did. It sure did. And then Alf says, as for a class of brigadier going up to be taught how to speak, yes, because they all speak in circles. It sounds too uniform to me, even though he's not wearing a uniform. Oh my God, that rhymes. Like the live. Yes, please, guys, please like the live. I know you guys really, really want to sleep, but we've just got to get into it. Okay, we're going to go into part 2 and finish up the video. Hi, Dimpo. Dimpo says, I hope Judge Raja is watching how the SAPS is crumbling down. He must start thinking hard. It is crumbling, okay? Dimpo, there is no way. This is Dan responding to Dimpo, and he says, there is no way. Not until names are implicated. Oh, Joker says, Mzansi Unfiltered, Pagati, inside, within, like. Okay, what are you guys waiting for? You better be liking, even if it's a late night fall asleep with Mzansi Unfiltered. You still have to hit that like button, gather the strength to hit the live, and then pull the covers back up and continue watching. I am okay with that, okay? And then next comment says, can you imagine if General Sibiya is called to testify in docket 636 in the Senzo Meyiwa case? If it's hardly pressed by Mnisi and Shalolo, I can just explode out of anger. Slip of the tongue. Ooh, if he gets called, based on this interview, he mustn't come. Okay, he mustn't come because he will leave there just as a policeman. This one. Why is he said so? Advocate therefore was right when he said the Senzo Meyiwa case is being cooked in the president's office, and he got all sorts of attacks from the so-called top dogs. Ooh. Why didn't they pull Mkhwanazi off like they did Advocate therefore? Like, I don't understand how that was not stopped. I really don't. Like, I would have done it. Like, shut the man down. Shut the man down now. Okay, until he verifies all his don't journey. What was it? Like, I want to know, okay, the members of the media, when they got the invitation to come to Mkhwanazi's press briefing, what was the invitation? Because we know that Shadrack Sibiya spoke to Mkhwanazi on Friday and everything was good. And then he invited him to a golf. And then how are we here? How are we here? Master says, I think the Sevilla guy was also there in the spaza shop. I remember him saying Chikotwala was called. Wise says, Longwe said his father is well known and powerful, and he meant he is untouchable because of these people. And what did Mkhwanazi say? Oh, Mkhwanazi needs to come back and do a part 2. We have questions, okay? We're going to write down the questions. We'll email them to the media, and let's continue on.
In such a way that we are going to be to remain mature and above his IQ level. So now, I'm just trying to say to you, I want to respond officially, professionally, and without showing emotions. And my wish is that you could just respond like that space where I could just respond in a professional way, and then I will respond to each and every allegation that he made. I didn't know that when he indicated that he will be having a press conference, he was saying that I'm the one who is used to each and every allegation that he made, and I will go to the deeper levels of it, and then I will respond to the nation.
Just very quickly, General, I really do appreciate you taking time. I know that you've just heard about this. Just very quickly, the meeting that Mkhwanazi speaks about, did it take place between yourself, him, and police minister? Did it happen?
Yes.
It did happen. All right,
Yes.
so you've confirmed.
Saying that he said the minister is not going to.
Cressela is so problematic. So you see what she did there. That's another communications tactic. You see, that's what I said. They've got to go to these communication tactics. So she acknowledges him. Okay, she acknowledges his request to be treated respectfully, and you hear her tone of voice. She changes it, okay, because he has demanded respect, and she says, "No problem. I can meet you where you want me. You want me to respect you? Not a problem." So she acknowledges him, and she says, "You know what? You're right. Thank you so much. Did that meeting occur?" Did the meeting occur? Yes or yes? And he says yes. He was supposed to say no comment and then meet with the minister, and they come up with their official uniform response. I can't teach you everything, but how could you say the meeting existed? The very meeting that Mkhwanazi is talking about. Oh my goodness. And I didn't know that. I knew he was having a press conference. I didn't know I was the topic of the press. Did you really expect him to say, "You know what, on Sunday, okay, get ready. I'm going to talk about you a lot. I'm going to drop your name. And when I drop your name, I'm going to say there's only one Sibiya in the South African police services that I know of, unless there's another one." So the one, because he never said Shadrack Sibiya, if you guys remember. All he said was Sibiya, and we all knew which one. We all knew which one exactly, okay? Inside Pagati he was talking about. And then Cressela also knew, and then she called him, and then he said, "Yes, it is me." You couldn't catch me sleeping like that. I would be like, "No, we're not doing this, okay? We're not having this conversation." But that's the problem when you subscribe to the theory of I, my image in public. I'm not a criminal. I've worked for the South African Police Services for 37 years. This is the problems that happen. It becomes important, your image becomes important, that you start to respond to questions before you spoke to legal counsel that you shouldn't have responded to. For example, inside the emojis case, Judge Mbenenge's case, they brought up their witness, okay, defense witness. They brought the former friend of Mango to testify against her. And the tribunal counsel is like, "We know how that game goes. You were friends before? Yes, we were friends. You stopped being friends? Yeah, we're not friends anymore. And you're about to testify against her? Absolutely. What's your testimony going to be based off? Oh, she's a bad person. We stopped being friends because of how she acts around people." Of course you're coached. You're the worst person to be on the stand. And then they dismissed her to go about her day. Okay, we just can't take you. You're irrelevant right now. It is clear you can't stand her. But we are not there. We are here. Shadrack Sevilla o'clock.
Participate in a meeting with a criminal. That's nothing like that. Absolutely nothing like that. And the issue of the government of politics, not with me. Questions that we're taking. I don't know why he blames it on me. And what what made Mkhwanazi angry, more angry than Kuman. Arresting Kuman, never interviewed in this thing. It is purely an IDEC matter. It has got nothing to do with me. But he's so angry and so disturbed. That is why he's defying the minister even about the disbandment of this political killing scheme. I mean, that he said it's not going to disband. What kind of a discipline officer does that? Who would disrespect the minister in the open like that? And I'm telling you now, political killing, more than 400 million has been spent in these cases to investigate what exactly, because this case can be investigated by all these teams that have been put in place to deal with the minister to disband this political killing scheme at all. And I don't control the minister in terms of advertising a position or a position. The minister in history decided that no, let's hold all the appointments for now. It happens all the time, everywhere. Why is he getting so angry from his
You heard it live from Shadrack Sevilla, from his little corner where he is sitting. Do you believe me now that there's a communications class that they go to? Have you heard that word before? Okay? From his little corner, I believe the person who used that phrase was Umnisi Wemvula, responding to the brigadier, that the brigadier sits in his tiny little corner making his tiny little rules. Do you guys remember that? And that was with regards to the warning statement, when the brigadier suddenly had 6 versions of the warning statement, yet that's not allowed. And he had never read a book that's supposed to have been read by every policeman in the South African police services. Now, Shadrack Sevilla attacks Mkhwanazi's IQ, and he tells him he must focus on his tiny little corner. KZN is not a tiny little corner, sir. But that's what happens now when you don't have the answers that are required. You can now only attack the person. You attack the character. You attack as a deflection tactic so that people don't notice that, oh my goodness, Cressela's asking a question and we're waiting for the answer. Instead, he takes us down the avenue of talking about Mkhwanazi's IQ. Now, if Mkhwanazi had an IQ level, how did he make it so high ranking? Doesn't that sound ridiculous? Stay focused, Shadrack. Stay focused, okay? Stay focused so that you don't sound petty, because that's what it's sounding. It's now sounding like a playground fight. But you guys are grown men with tactical training and firearms. It's a war, guys. It's a war. Dorcas! She is Inside Parati channel member, and she says, here is something to keep you going tonight. Thank you so much. Thank you for the motivation. I agree. Goningi, guys. Goningi. It is happening over there, okay? And let's listen on. Okay, let's hear what else he brings to the table.
His work is cut out in KZN. He must just focus and do what other provincial commissioners are doing.
Okay. Now, his work is over there in the KZN. He must do what other commissioners are doing, staying in line, minding their business, not overstepping. Is that what you meant, Shadrack? Because that's what I heard. That's what the English I heard. Here's you trying to say. In other words, you want him to stay in his tiny little corner of KZN and mind his business and stay out of other provincial businesses. For me, that spoke a lot of volume, because you solved the AKA case, right? Okay, anyway, we are not there. Let's continue. He should never have answered.
Are doing. He must stop really trying to run after the minister and challenging the minister's decision, and as if like, I don't know, maybe he should be the minister of police.
Yeah. General Shadrack, thank you very much indeed for your know that and I do appreciate the fact that you let me stretch it a bit there, given the fact that you wanted to have a look at a thorough look at what was said by the police commissioner in KwaZulu-Natal, Mkhwanazi, and basically you're saying all of that. There is no truth.
Lastly, Cressela, you must stop threatening people about the gun and the fight and the street and everything. You must stop behaving like a criminal and behave like a disciplined member of the police. Tell him to stop threatening people and talking violence there. He must stop behaving like a warlord. He's a member of the police.
All right. I'm not sure if I can communicate that, but
He's
of course...
listening. I'm telling him he must stop behaving like a warlord and behave like a policeman.
Stop behaving like a warlord and act like a policeman. Spoken from one true policeman to another. And Cressela says, well, I'm not in the business of passing on messages. And then he says, oh no, he's listening. I know he is. And then it goes back to what he himself said. I don't want to speak from a place of emotions. But at the same time, I'm going to save face and I'm going to speak highly of the minister so that my head is not on the chopping block tomorrow. Because I had no business responding to Cressela, but my emotions and my ego got the best of me and I just started running my mouth. And then it goes back again. We've seen this. I said from level brigadier going up, why are they so focused on their public image? His feelings are hurt. You can hear it in his voice. He's really upset. I can only wonder what's going to happen tomorrow. Is Mkhwanazi going to respond? Is he banned from calling the media? I don't know. But hey, he can call the media because what did he say? Focus on your province over there. Focus on your KZN. Mind your business, okay? Stay out of our business and stop investigating us. That's literally what he said. In not so many words. But he said what he said. And it's so unfortunate. Wow. I don't know what to tell you guys. I'm just perplexed by the behavior of everybody here. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. What did you learn most from Mkhwanazi's revelations? And also, did Shadrack Sibiya respond to any? He didn't counter anything. In fact, he confirmed the meeting. Should have never done that. Why did you confirm the meeting? Oh, I want to read to you the minister. Okay, the minister obviously responded. He's very smart. Okay, he's a very smart man. He said, I'm going to respond in writing because, you know, the challenge with responding in person, your mind takes over and your emotions take over and you say the most. And he responds. And you know what? I've got a whole team. You know, I'm a minister. Why should I bother responding? I have a team and a spokesperson. Let them draft everything and I'll post it myself. Okay, that's how it works. I don't know why Shadrack Sibiya took it upon himself to speak on behalf of himself. But let's hear what the minister says. Okay, for immediate release, it's dated the 6th of July, 2025. And it says, Minister of Police rejects baseless allegations by the KZN provincial. My words are falling asleep. Okay, let me say it again. Minister of Police rejects baseless allegations by KZN provincial. Guys, it's the second attempt. Okay, let's try this one more time. Minister of Police rejects the baseless allegations by the KZN provincial commissioner. Okay, there we go. English can't fail me now. I put on a whole pink ninja outfit today. You gotta come back. The Minister of Police, in his capacity as a member of the National Executive Committee of the African National Congress. Okay, what do we care? But okay, has been on a campaign trail. We don't care. Get to the crux of he's telling us what he's doing, sir. We don't care. the minister has been engaging in a number of community groupings, including his Induna community organizations and commercial. Okay, you're very busy. We get it. You want the votes in and you want to distract us again from what Mkhwanazi says. I'm now in paragraph 2. He still hasn't addressed. He's still telling us what he did this weekend. What did Shadrack Sibiya tell us? I spoke to Mkhwanazi on Friday and he invited me to golf. Do you see what they're doing? Anyway, let's continue. While still busy with these engagements, the minister was made aware of today's media briefing called by the KwaZulu-Natal Provincial Commissioner, Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, making a number of wild allegations and claims on a variety of issues. The Minister of Police will never allow his integrity, that of the ministry or the South African police services at large, to be undermined by insinuations made without evidence or due processes from anyone, including you, okay, over there in the KZN, Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi. We will be reviewing, there's that word. We will be reviewing the provincial commissioner's statements and consider appropriate action. I don't know why this made me think of Ngomezulu when he said, and then they all met in a hotel, and then, I don't know why, but my mind is telling me they are not sleeping tonight. Do you agree? Drop a one in the comment section if you agree. They're not sleeping tonight. They are watching that interview like YouTubers, okay, sentence by sentence and breaking it down and seeing how they can best recap. I just want to know how they're going to respond to the Mr. Brown situation, because Mkhwanazi did not blink when he spoke about Mr. Brown. But let's continue, okay? Let's continue. The statement goes on to say, we will be reviewing the provincial commissioner's statements and consider appropriate action. All these statements made by him in public require an urgent, thorough, and transparent investigation. Yes, please make it very transparent, okay? Go live in that hotel room and tell us what's going on. We want to listen as members of the public jury. Transparent, you said. Transparent, we expect, okay? All these statements made by him in public require an urgent, thorough, and transparent investigation on a proper platform. Okay, we'll wait. Don't keep us waiting too long, though. The Minister of Police remains committed to upholding the rule of law, ensuring accountability within the South African police services, and serving the people of South Africa with integrity. And most importantly, the minister remains committed to the task at hand, and that is to reduce the high murder. You're deflecting. The high murder rate, okay? Basically, they're saying, guys, stop listening to Mkhwanazi in his tiny little corner over there in KZN. Focus on the high murder rate. Speaking of the high murder rate, we're still waiting for what happened in the Senzo Mewa trial. How about that? Anyway, oh yeah, there's also the high murder rate in the KZN Mkhwanazi of the AKA trial. Oh, you shouldn't have opened that can of worms. Now look what you made me do. You made my mind go to the murder rate. You brought it up, so now we're there. Hello, reduce high availability. Reduce high availability of illegal firearms. Well, rumor has it they are from inside poverty within. Let me give you an urgent example. Major General Lushaba. Okay, he had a day where he decided that he was going to hire a woman of the night, and that woman of the night came to his house with her tools of the trade, and she put something in his drink, and then when it was in his drink, he fell asleep, and she knew that she could do her job, and she took his laptop. Oh, firearm. Did you know that? Yeah, firearm. You brought it up. You said illegal firearms. Well, that's how they're getting the firearms, okay? They're meeting up with these servicemen, okay? High-ranking servicemen. And then they're taking their tools of the trade, and then they're using them, and then possibly they're used to pow-pow. Now their firearm is going to match in a ballistic expert and done investigation. Do you see what kind of a vicious circle we have, Mr. Police Minister? The problem is from within. How about that? Start within, okay? Also, they're also hiring brigadiers that don't have brigadier training. They just start as brigadiers. and they don't even have firearm licenses. Did you know that? But anyway, we're not there. I mean, of course, you're the police minister. You're fully aware of all these things. Have you suspended that gang? Oh, no, haven't suspended them either. Okay. Anyway, you want us to focus on the high murder rate. You want us to also know that you are focused on reducing the high availability of illegal firearms. Okay. And then you want to tackle the substances that is being trafficked. Okay. And syndicates. Oh, not you bringing GBV into the conversation throughout the country with a specific focus on 4 provinces with high levels of crime. Oh, not you putting KZN at the top of that list. You see, that last paragraph for me is called petty.com. Yeah, that's what it sounds like. It's also part of the deflecting.com administration. I think you guys could have done a better job, because you're not going to take us to GBV, unaliving rate, firearms that are illegal. You've been knowing that. It didn't take Mkhwanazi's statement. What you should have been saying in the statement is how these rates have been reduced, and don't just use the word reduced, use numbers. Show us the numbers. Like, say, GBV last year we had 1,000 cases. This year we have 998. And then we'll say, oh, okay, yes, there's a reduction. Okay, they've lowered the number. They are working hard. But I'm not hearing you quote a single number or refer us to a single stat. Therefore, it's called lip service, okay? You're just giving us lip service, and Mzansi Unfiltered is watching closely, okay? We are waiting for that transparent investigation on a proper platform so we can come back here to Mzansi Unfiltered to react. And of course, guys, if you guys have more information, you are more than welcome to contact the ministry spokesperson. Look at that. Kamugelo, okay, Mkhwanazi, on 0. So write it down, guys. Make sure you contact for more information, 076-523-0085. For media releases, speeches, and news, visit the SAPS portal at saps.gov.za. Let me check the comment section right here, because, wow. Koningi, guys, what a whole disgrace. Again, thank you to Dorcas, our channel member, for tonight's super thanks. Tonight's super thanks, super chat, super thanks. I think it's a super thanks. I can't see it properly over here. But Alf says, now I have conflicted views about Paul O'Sullivan. What are you talking about? Let me know. Let me know. Sikatele Mkhwanazi. We surely are tired of them Mkhwanazis, okay? You are the best. Boo, 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 boo. Thandalo Nkosi says, sadly, Sibiya is all over the place. He was. He didn't say anything that made sense, in my humble opinion. I'm so sorry to say that, Mr. Shadrack Sibiya. I know that you don't like that kind of commentary, but it's the reality. You didn't make any sense. And my advice to you, you are more than welcome to hire me as your communications director, because your communication skills were lacking. In fact, they were quite exposing. You need to make sure when you're addressing members of the public that you maintain their attention, you stay focused, and you stay firm with one message, and you don't become emotional. I'll give you an example. Sometimes there are comments that really make me upset. And then I have to remind myself, don't respond to the comment. Don't respond to the comment. Don't respond to the comment. And then I can't respond to the comment. But try to talk to yourself, okay? So try to talk to yourself. Is it necessary? Is it going to change the future? Is it wise? And then when you go through that internal filter, you would have never answered Cressela's phone call. You would have never answered the phone. I'm going to tell you a secret, okay? And I live by it. It's called, you can never misquote silence. Nobody can misquote silence. They will say, we tried to get a hold of him. We haven't received a statement from him. And that's it. We'll be left wondering. And then you come back with a proper statement on Monday. in uniform, okay, with the police minister who you're being implicated with, but we're neither here or there. Do you see what I'm saying? This is the things that I would help you with if you communicated with me as your communications director, because one thing is clear, communications inside the SAPS is appalling. Yeah, that's the word I would use. It's appalling. It's filled with a lot of I, me, me. You guys need to stop doing that. It really irritates me. By the way, guys, it's a pet peeve of mine. Anytime I notice people using a lot of I's, it really irritates me. Really irritates me. Like it's a pet peeve. And that's how I catch it out. That's how you cannot be in a leadership position talking about I. Who is I? When you're inside the South African Police Services. You can't do that. But Wisey says, send banking details. What banking details? Are you talking to me? If you're talking to me, just go ahead, hit the $sign over there and say a nice hello, with the $sign. Banking details. No. I'm very transparent. We've got to do any exchanges here inside within the people. Because tomorrow you'll say, and then I got the banking details. Can you believe she didn't do this and that? No, we want to be transparent, okay? The money comes in and then I make the purchases and I show you guys, okay? I love it. I love it for us all. But wait, which banking details? Did I miss a conversation? Let me scroll. No. Yeah. No, I didn't miss anything. So I'm guessing you mean my banking details. Dan says thank you. Otando Lwenkosi says, hi, wena Shadrack Sibiya, practice what you preach. About being in your tiny little corner, or the message that he has for Mkhwanazi over there in the KZN. Cressela said, nope, and Izzy, I'm not your messenger, okay? That's right. Cressela said, I think you have his email address and you know how to get in touch with him. I need to check the ranking between Mkhwanazi and, actually, let me do this now. So, Mkhwanazi is the provincial commission. Of course, Shadrack is higher ranked than him. So you can actually call him to attention. Has anyone checked in on Mkhwanazi? Has he said anything after that? Okay. Munda Dembi. Yes, I did well. I struggled with one word though. Thank you for the reminder. Tolagele says, I had a pen and paper to write down the defense answers from Mr. Sun. I bet you your paper is blank. I have a feeling your paper is blank because I can't think of anything I can quote him on. But I haven't written a thing yet. Maybe my English jumped me on this interview. No, we're on the same page, okay? Your English didn't jump you. He didn't say anything. He said Mkhwanazi's IQ is questionable. He said Mkhwanazi needs to stay in his tiny little corner in KZN. And he said he must leave him alone with the police minister. And what else did he say? He said, oh, write this down. This is good for your notes. He said the meeting did occur. That's the only thing he said that was relevant to the conversation. Next comment says, Ingulube yentaba leyo. Oh, Melrose. Do you think they're there again today? Oh, where's Ngomezulu when you need him? Man, Master says, I never trusted that minister since that story of, I think that's what you meant to type, when he said the principal DNA was taken. Well, it didn't. Now you're saying something. Listen. Paul O'Sullivan said Mkhwanazi must be suspended. Check out his latest interview. Oh, he said he must be suspended for today's Mkhuluguduland. Okay, we'll go to Paul O'Sullivan. I have a feeling I want to listen to him now. Guys, are we going to sleep today? Are we committed to the cause? Satanda says, maybe Mkhwanazi got wind of the plot to get rid of him and decided to strike first. You know what happened to the other Mkulugutus? They didn't come out with a statement ahead of time. They kept, deflecting and saying Patricia Michelle is crazy and dun, and then jiggy inside Parati, the dog. Organized crime is controlled. Organized crime is controlling the criminal justice system. That's literally what Mkhwanazi said. For me, what I heard Mkhwanazi say is the official playbook, okay? So I'm going to look for O'Sullivan's interview. Let's go back to Mkhwanazi, because Mkhwanazi is the problem child, and I like it. Mkhwanazi is acting like the stepchild. And then the children of the stepmother, they are like, the princess is there, like Cinderella, and the princess is Mkhwanazi is acting like that, and he's like, I don't care anyway. I'm gonna reveal what I know and what you're gonna do about it. And then it's like a game of chess. It's your move now. So it's gonna be a long week, guys. It's gonna be a long week. Here goes.
This briefing, we are going to get Q&A at the end, and that will be the end of our briefing. For today, we won't do one-on-ones. So,
I just want to quickly say, I remember him. He is the one with his cap and his glasses. I will never forget him. I don't know his name. I apologize, Mr. Officer Man, but thank you for not wearing a mask and carrying a firearm as you give this message. I remember him from the AKA night when he actually confirmed that AKA was no more. I couldn't believe it. I remember him that night. That's all I wanted to add to the conversation. Let's continue listening on.
Question must just come just after his briefing. It will be answered here. If you've got a special question, unfortunately, it's
much. Sunday, you're all feeling good after the whole events that happened in Devon yesterday. You did not enjoy yourself too much, so you're focused today. Let me thank my generals and district commissioners that are assisting me in fighting crime in this province to get my duties, both from the policing side as well as the investigation. I'm here this morning in order to speak to you about...
I'm so sorry to interrupt, okay? This is exactly what I was talking about. Did you hear what he did? He spoke about the others in his team. Now, tell me, who did Shadrack Sibiya speak about in his team? Oh, nobody. Just oh, okay. Yeah.
The policing issues that are happening in KZN as well as in the Republic of South Africa. So I'm presenting this briefing to the citizens of this province, and by extension, the inhabitants of the Republic of South Africa, specifically about the work of the political killings task team. It's been spoken about a lot. I'm sure you know that. Let me give a bit of a background about this political killings task team. In 2018, the President of the Republic, His Excellency President Ramaphosa, established the Interministerial Committee, which we refer to as IMC, which consists of the Ministers of Police, the Minister of State Security, the Minister of Defense, the Minister of Justice and Correctional Services, and Correctional Development. These ministers were given a task by the President to ensure that they deal with matters of security nature that affect political leadership in this province. You will recall that the minister had visited the family of the late Musawenkosi Kashana Mkhunu in Placesley in Pietermaritzburg in May 2018. It was then where this IMC was established by the President. So it is a committee of ministers, not a police-directed operation, but a committee that involved different departments. The IMC at the time met and listened to the investigation report that was presented, the so-called political task team that was established before them. And the observation, amongst others, was that the task team was working in silos. It was compromised, and that it did not have any investigation as well as a prosecutorial plan or strategy. As a result, there was a little or no progress in the investigation and prosecution of these cases. A decision was therefore taken by the IMC to establish a national integrated multidisciplinary task team, which consists of the South African Police Service, the National Prosecuting Authority, NPA, supported by both state security as well as correctional services, which commenced its work in July of 2018 to implement the now tried and tested analysis-led and prosecution-driven investigation strategy. As a result of the excellent performance, the Political Killings Task Team has been assigned in another presidential intervention project. I can name the few: the killing of the traditional leaders in the province of KwaZulu-Natal, as well as the murders that happened in the University of Forte in the Incape. Since the establishment of this Political Killings Task Team in July 2018, the team has been investigating a total of 612 case dockets. These case dockets include murders, attempted murders, intimidation, conspiracy to commit murders, and other cases. A total of 436 suspects were arrested and charged. 156 firearms were recovered, of which 55 of them were linked.
Sorry to interrupt you, Lieutenant Mkhwanazi, okay? We're going to jump over to O'Sullivan and hear what he has to say. I haven't listened to it yet. This was brought up right here inside Phakathi, the comment section, and I think let's listen to it together because Mkhwanazi has stepped on many toes. So you're going to get my live reaction. Let me see if I have it here. Do you see my screen? I always think of jumps when he says that. Oops, okay. Let me share this with you. Here we go.
Who instructed the Deputy National Commissioner, Lieutenant General Shadrack Sibiya, to disband the unit. Forensic consultant Paul O'Sullivan joins us now for more reaction. Paul, good evening to you as always. Thank you very much for your time. It seems the gloves are off here. What were you thinking when you were listening to that news conference and the evidence that Mkhwanazi says he has that backs up the claims that he made today?
Yes, I think we need to go behind what Mkhwanazi has stated. Let's go back to the year 2012. In 2012, Mkhwanazi was the acting commissioner of police, and he never became the commissioner of police because he was found unsuitable, and he eventually ended up as the commissioner of police for KZN. At the time when he was commissioner of police, Masemola, that's the current chief of police, the current commissioner of police, Masemola was the acting head of crime intelligence. And when Masemola was acting head of crime intelligence, Mkhwanazi approved the unlawful expenditure by Masemola of 35 million rand of public funds on buying luxury cars. And that was in the early part, the first quarter of 2012. Now, if we bring it a little bit further forward, both Mkhwanazi and Masemola joined a police supplier on an overseas trip, and the pair of them came back with what do you call it? Louis Vuitton. It's a very expensive ladies' handbag, and the pair of them came back with a gift from the police supplier, being a Louis Vuitton handbag. And from what I can gather, neither of them disclosed at customs the fact that they had in their possession a gift worth somewhere between 70 and 100,000 rand each. And then what did they do? They probably gave these bags to their wives. Now, if we take it to the present day, we have Mkhwanazi, the Commissioner of Police for Natal, suddenly calling a press conference. And in that press conference, he dishes the Minister of Police. And a lot of allegations in that conference. And although we only made those allegations at day, opportunity to go through them. And some of them, the ones that I have been able to go through and ascertain, I'm satisfied that they're false allegations, which means Nazi is on his own. Well, then the question is on a mission of his own? Because Masemola is the Commissioner of Police. So the question is, did Mkhwanazi get permission from Masemola to meet a conference where he invited the Minister of Police and other senior personnel in the police?
All right.
Or did he act on his own? I think the investigation needs to discover who was behind his press conference today. And it also needs to discover why he was dressed in combat uniform. He's a police official. He's the head of KZN Provincial Police. He's not a task force member. So why was he wearing task force uniform? And why was he having task force members?
I'm happy to answer that question for you, Mr. O'Sullivan. Dun, okay. You might not know this, but there's a case. It's called the Mzansi trial, and the lead investigating officer in that trial decided to show up as a heist informer, a member of the bomb squad or the gas leak battalion, all on his own. Nobody else was dressed like him. I like what Mkhwanazi did. He said, you know what? Me and my team were going to be in combative wear. It just speaks to the tone of the conversation. Because I remember when I clicked on it and I saw what he was wearing and I said, oh, this is war. Because it's giving camouflage. It's giving, you're going to know me today. And he even wore the EFF hat, okay? And then he said, no, I want mine to be the combative style. And I want to make sure that I am remembered. If this is the last time I speak, I want to make sure I'm remembered in combative mode. Surely you could think of that, Mr. O'Sullivan, about Mkhwanazi and Masemola. You see, when he's talking, I'm like, who are these people he's talking about? Because now it sounds, the names are so different, and then all of a sudden I cannot say Mkhwanazi anymore, and then I'll be stuck saying Mkhwanazi. But anyway, let's let him speak his mind, okay? Let's let him speak his mind, because according to him, he has already verified the information as false, but he's not telling us what information is false. He's just labeling it, okay, with a bow and calling it false. Which part? Because I have questions. But let me hear the rest of what you have to say. Maybe I'm pulling the gun too fast.
On both sides of him, it's almost like he's challenging who? The government? He's challenging the police? Who is he challenging? And he's setting out all these people around him. If you have a look at the pictures, it's very, very clear. He's surrounded by people with R5 weapons, and they're all wearing masks, so we can't see who they are.
Okay, Paul, I must come in there.
Opinion, it looks dangerously suspicious, and it looks dangerously like he's threatening a coup.
All right, Paul, let's go into you saying through, as you said, in a sense, a show of force is what you're saying in terms of the way the ops are. I beg your pardon, Paul, you can't hear me?
I didn't hear what you said. You just need to speak up a bit.
All right, I'll get the team just to make sure that you've got me in your ear.
I can hear you now.
All right, Paul. I want to go back. You said that even though it's been a few short hours, you managed to go back and look at some of what Mkhwanazi presented to the public today, and you have established that some of those false allegations, can you rate for which was you say, even just with a quick investigation, do not stand up to scrutiny?
Well, there's a number of them, and I don't think I want to go into them. And the reason why I don't want to go into them is because Mkhwanazi has acted unlawfully. He's put in the public domain details of criminal investigation.
Okay, Paul, I hear what you're saying. Okay, so it's a number of them, but you don't want to go into the details because Mkhwanazi has acted unlawfully, but you don't want to go into the details, but you just want to white label it all as false allegations because you don't want to be quoted in case Mkhwanazi releases his proof, which will then discredit you later on. That's safe. I like that. You played it safe, okay? Now, do the same thing. Teach Shadrack Sevilla, okay? Tell him not to comment on anything individually. Now he already confirmed. Are you going to say that the meeting in the office didn't happen? Because newsflash, Shadrack Sevilla confirms it. There's also another office meeting that happened in the Senzo Meyiwa trial, and Shadrack Sevilla was there. He's always in meetings, Shadrack Sevilla. Anyway, we're not there. My mind is deflecting. Let's go back to Paul O'Sullivan, okay? Mr. Dundunny over there.
Which are still ongoing, and that's unheard of. What the police should never, ever do is publish the blow-by-blow details of criminal investigations that are still ongoing. Because by doing so, they're undermining the criminal justice system, he undermines the judiciary, he undermines the National Prosecuting Authority, and in effect, he gives an opportunity to criminal undertow on crimes that they may or may not have committed before the trial has even begun. And it's just unheard of. So what I'm now doing, in fact, I sent an email today to Massola and copied the into what the hell is going on of this country, because it's completely unacceptable. And the victims of crime out there, and there's many of them, the victims of crime out there are getting full of all this criminal activity within the police service, and it has to stop.
I want to go back to the histories here. I think it is important, as you say, that this isn't a journey of a few months or just a few years. You know, we're going back at least 13 years to 2012 is what you were sharing with us. And the that you're sharing between the National Police Commissioner, Lieutenant General Fani Masemola, and Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi in very different roles there that has endured, you would say, until today. It's interesting because the Deputy National Police Commissioner, Lieutenant General Shadrack Sibiya, has been in the media on our platform as well, dealing with some of the issues that Mkhwanazi raised. In fact, the issue of 121 cases at the door of the National Police Commissioner, saying that, you know, it was only his to implement the instructions of the National Commissioner. So how much do you believe it is, or how important do you think it is in this moment? National, we've heard in that it
and he's been ominously silent. 5 generals and 2 brigadiers from crime intelligence, and he hasn't come back with an answer on that, other than to say it's an internal matter and it's got nothing to do with the public. It's got everything to do with the public. The public are the victims of crime. The generals in the crime intelligence in the police who go around with police are not victims of crime. It's the man in the street that's victims of crime. We're getting fed with it. So what we have to do is clean up their act. And it's never going to happen when you've got to the media. But Mkhwanazi himself, he needs to come out and explain, where's the Louis Vuitton bag he was given as a gift? Where are the cars that were purchased in 2012 using crime intelligence funds? please answer those questions. And please answer the question that he's a tough guy and he's going to take on the government and dish the government, the judiciary, and the National Prosecuting Authority. That will account to the people of this country.
Is it unprecedented, Paul? Because I'm not sure if you...
Okay. I understand the issue at hand here. Okay. All right. Paul O'Sullivan is very clear, and I have like 5 minutes to end this live because you know the rules. We got to do it under 2 hours so that my software doesn't give me a lot of manual work to do. So the issue here is that Mkhwanazi and Masemola, they came back with Louis Vuitton bags and they gave their wives. Okay, that was in 2012, by the way, guys. We are currently in 2025. So what are you doing, sir? I thought I was going to, you know what? It's late at night. What I was expecting from him, which is why I went blind into this interview, I was expecting substance. Okay, I was expecting meat. I was expecting to eat a bone. In fact, I wasn't expecting this Louis Vuitton conversation and him telling us that Louis Vuitton is a very expensive bag. It costs around 70,000 to 100,000 rands. Sir, we do not care. Okay, Mkhwanazi made some allegations. Focus on today o'clock, okay, or yesterday at this point. But it's quite disappointing that he went off on a tangent about things that are not currently at stake. And then the lady, the interviewer, she's struggling to just focus him and reel him back in and to just tie it all. It was awful. It was awful. I'm going to listen to the rest of it and then I'm going to give you my full briefing, okay, in a video response. We have come to the end of tonight's live, okay? If you have made it up to the end of this live, let me just give a few shout outs, okay? I want to give a few shout outs because YouTube has this thing now. Why is it not opening? Oh, come on. Okay, guys, hold on. I'm having a little bit of a technical difficulty. Let me try one more time. My device is overheating today. Okay, one more time. Oops, shouldn't have done that. There we go. Okay. We're building this plane, or should I say we're flying this plane as we're building it. Okay, so thank you so much to Dorcas Shabalala. Okay, she's inside Phakathi Within. Thank you for being number 1 in the chat. Come on now. And then we also have Dan. Then Dan at number 2 and at number 3. Okay, you guys have these crowns from YouTube. YouTube sees you. Okay. It's not me. YouTube is telling me. But I'm so happy. Thank you so much. And then from there, we've got Uthando Lwenkosi. Okay. Thank you so much. Alf is also in the building. Wizzy or Wizzy, I'm sorry if I'm not saying right. Uboya Vinyati. Thank you so much. Vusutando. Mashovane. Hello. Master. M. Ruli. Hi. Tolagele, the other Dan, okay, because we've got Dan squared over here. And then we've got Chuku and Musa Dlamini. Thank you so much for being a part of this live stream. Yeah. I like this little tab. Yay. I'm so glad I decided to click. Now, how do I go back to my live stream? I'm going to end the live right here. Oh my goodness, I almost missed the count. I'm just going to do an abrupt end because I am less than 50 seconds to go. Okay, so I apologize for the abrupt end, but I can't be doing everything manual, so I need this software to work properly. Okay, otherwise it starts to malfunction. Thank you so much for staying up with me. Fall asleep with Mzansi Unfiltered. Checking out. Bye. Good night.